In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern, taking a look at colder temperatures as we've already been talking about for days now, and probably even a week plus we've been talking about that, and it is finally here. If you've stepped outside, you've probably noticed that it is unseasonably cold. This is coming as some Arctic blasts are working their way from the Arctic Circle down into the eastern and central United States, and this doesn't look to end anytime soon. I wish I could tell you that this was only going to last 3 or 4 days, but I really can't. We see this through the end of these model runs day after day. It keeps getting pushed back further and further and further to where now we're even looking at the first week of June potentially being colder than normal. This is going to lead towards activity slowing down throughout a lot of the middle and northern regions of the United States. But as far as the south, central, and southeastern states, I think this could actually increase the activity. So we're going to be discussing that in a big way today as well. Let's just dive into things, and we're taking a look at really cool temperatures compared to what we're used to here in late May, early June timeframe. The blues are about 1 to 10 degrees below normal, and then those greens are going to be 10 to 15 degrees below normal. So a pretty substantial departure from what is typical. And at times we're even here like the low temperatures, or actually this is the high temperatures. This is today, the high temperatures today. And we see these kind of purplish blues spread throughout New England, some of the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes there. That is where we're looking at even 15 to 25 degrees below normal. So an even further departure from what's normal for this time of year. Huge stuff here. I know that it doesn't seem that big, but there is probably some records that are going to be broken, and temperatures are going to feel April-like or maybe even late March-like for some of early June. So this is, months off from what we typically would be seeing this time of year. Then we see this continue straight into Saturday the 24th tomorrow, Sunday the 25th, Monday on Memorial Day. It does move around a little bit. The intensity changes at times, but the general idea stays the same, and that's warmer temperatures along this western area. We call this a positive PNA. And what this does is it forces that Arctic air to spill over into the central and eastern states, which we see a ton of that action happening from today all the way through Tuesday, the 27th so far. So that's already like 4 days as we keep going. I mean, it really doesn't end. This is all the way towards June 1st, and really the idea is the same. June 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th here. This is Saturday, June 7th. And not much has changed. You might take notice that most of the cooler temperatures are more over the central states, and there is some warmer temperatures along the east. There will be maybe some breaks for a day or two at a time for certain areas. In this instance, it's the East Coast, whereas the central states are still cool, and there might be times where the central states warm up a little bit and the East stays relatively cool. And that's going to stay basically the same as long as this is staying the same, this massive positive PNA for the western seaboard. Looking at our CAPE, which is short for convective available potential energy, is going to be kind of a combination of temperatures and humidity to try to find out how much potential for thunderstorms there is. So the lower the number, the less potential, whereas the whites are like practically none. The blues are very low. And then those, reds, purples, even whites there are going to be on the extreme end of the spectrum. There is absurd amounts of potential for thunderstorms to the point where you could have, 2 or 3 thunderstorms in one day. It is a consumable kind of thing. I don't know how to really explain it, but essentially these thunderstorms come through and consume the CAPE, so it does lower after thunderstorms develop. But again, if you have these absurd amounts like 2, 3, 4, 5,000 or more, there's enough for many thunderstorms in a single day without even eating it all up. As we just watch this area, we're going to play through it quickly. I want to move on relatively fast, but watch this area. This is the area where we stay really consistent with pretty large values of CAPE just staying day after day after day. And it does expand outside of this area occasionally, but this is all the way through May 31st. And even as we work our way into the first week of June, that area is the area where this CAPE stays relatively consistent day in and day out, seeing decent numbers. Outside of there, we get a huge lowering of this number, whereas it was surging way up towards that Canadian border. It's staying very secluded down for this southern area. Looking at the overall storminess, we're also going to see this area as a highlighted region to watch for most of our precipitation in general as well. But we know there's high cape at times, so likely a lot of it being thunderstorms or even severe weather. I want to move us past today and straight into tomorrow, Saturday the 24th. And we already have a low here over Texas. And we already have some thunderstorm activity to track here from Texas, Oklahoma, eastward through the deep south. There is some showery activity up here for the Rockies and some of the northern plains, even snowfall for those higher elevations of Wyoming happening here tomorrow. Sunday on the 25th, again, that deep south area seeing thunderstorms pretty rampant. Monday, Labor Day, or Memorial Day as well. We have just widespread thunderstorm activity in these areas. But again, the darkest area is right in here. Again, pretty far to the south. Tuesday, likely a lot of this being mostly for this pocket here, southeast and deep south areas. Wednesday, this is going to be the 28th. We see it does expand a little bit up into the Mid-Atlantic, the Ohio Valley, and the Great Lakes. Again, there is some variance to this, and there is some days that are a little bit different. Even as we work our way towards Friday the 30th, we see mostly this area that we've been paying attention to, seeing most of the thunderstorm activity, but there is precipitation up here as you reach into eastern Canada and some surrounding states. Pretty interesting there. Saturday the 31st, again, this is an instance where the deep south is pretty dry and we actually see more of the north seeing precipitation. But we do rebound into something a little bit more familiar here with the southeast seeing most of the activity by Monday on June 2nd. And we get actually kind of a progressive system working its way in. Watch this feature here. It's going to kind of lower and move eastward here, bringing severe weather potentially to many different states as it sweeps through. As you can see, that's definitely going to be an area to watch. For instance, on this date, Friday into Saturday, we'd be watching this area here for thunderstorm activity, potentially even severe weather. But this is an important time for me to note. This is 360 hours out, so who knows if it'll even look exactly like this. You definitely want to take it with a grain of salt once we're looking beyond 10 days out. Looking at the total precipitation, we see that these same exact areas we've been highlighting are the areas seeing the most of the precipitation. They do average the highest amount of precipitation, even in an average May, but we're going to see in a second that this is actually above average for what's even average for this time of year for these areas. Looking at the anomalies, the greens are slightly above normal, the blues are highly above normal, in some instances even double what is normal for this time of year. So we see a lot of that from the central plains down through the southern plains, through the deep south and up the southeast a little bit there. These are the primary areas to watch, whereas we stay relatively dry the closer to that Canadian border you get. Now let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlooks real quickly. Here's day one, which will be, again, today, Friday the 23rd. We see two general thunderstorm risk areas in the lighter greens where we expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible, so heed every watch, warning, and advisory. We also have three darker green areas there. That's called our level 1 marginal risk, where we expect isolated severe weather to occur. And then we actually have a slight risk for some of the plains as well, which is that yellow area where we expect scattered about severe weather to occur today into this evening. For tomorrow on day 2, Saturday, things don't change too much actually. A general thunderstorm risk, a marginal risk, and a slight risk are present for pretty similar areas. And then day 3 for Sunday on the 25th, again, general thunderstorm risk, marginal risk, and slight risk in very similar areas. And again, it's in this exact corridor that we've been highlighting since the very beginning of this video. We even have one extended day outlook here, and this one's going to be for Memorial Day on Monday the 26th. And this translates roughly to a slight risk, this yellow area here. So we can anticipate likely a slight risk for a lot of Texas, at least on Monday the 26th. And there will be some stuff outside of it, such as a general thunderstorm risk and a marginal risk. And who knows how far that'll stretch. So we'll learn more tomorrow once this is within the range of the categorical outlooks. We'll learn quite a bit more. With all that being said, we upload every single day, so be sure to subscribe. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.